Welcome to Golden Bachelor. If you love celebrity news and real entertainment updates, you're in the right place. Sometimes the most powerful love stories aren't about romance alone. Sometimes they're about heart, about purpose, about choosing to give when no one is asking you to. And that's exactly why Mel Owens' story touched so many people. When Mel Owens first appeared on television, viewers saw charm, confidence, and experience. But what they didn't fully see, at least not right away, was the depth of compassion he carried with him long before the cameras ever rolled. Mel wasn't chasing attention. He wasn't chasing applause. He was searching for meaning. And that search led him somewhere unexpected. Detroit. A city known for strength, for resilience, for people who keep going even when the odds are stacked against them. A city with history, heart, and stories that don't always make the headlines. Mel didn't arrive with a plan to impress. He arrived with a desire to listen. He walked the streets quietly. He spoke with local residents. He met families, community leaders, and everyday people doing extraordinary things with very limited resources. What he saw stayed with him. Schools struggling to provide basics. Community centers doing their best with worn-out equipment. Families holding on to hope even when circumstances made that hope feel fragile. For Mel, this wasn't just eye-opening. It was personal. He grew quieter than usual, more reflective. Friends noticed. Fans noticed too. Something had shifted. And then, without warning, Mel made a decision that no one saw coming. No press conference, no dramatic announcement, just action. He chose to give back in a way that actually mattered. Mel stepped forward with a bold contribution aimed directly at helping Detroit communities rebuild, grow, and breathe a little easier. His focus wasn't on recognition, it was on impact. And the impact was immediate. Local leaders were stunned. Parents were emotional. Teachers, volunteers, and residents struggled to find words. For many, this wasn't just help, it was hope arriving at the exact moment it was needed most. Mel didn't stand on a stage and make speeches. He showed up. He joked with kids. He laughed with volunteers. He listened to stories without checking the time. There was warmth in his presence, the kind that makes people feel seen, not saved. And yes, there were laughs. At one point, Mel joked that he thought he was coming to help out a little, only to realize Detroit had taught him far more than he ever expected to learn. That comment alone broke the tension and reminded everyone that kindness doesn't have to be heavy, it can be joyful too. What made this moment special wasn't the size of the action alone, it was the sincerity behind it. Mel didn't do this because he was expected to, he did it because it felt right. Fans watching from home were deeply moved, social media filled with messages of gratitude, admiration, and disbelief. People weren't just talking about what Mel gave, but about how he gave it, with humility, with humor, with heart. Many viewers said this changed the way they saw him, not as a television personality, but as a man who understood that love isn't limited to romance. Love can show up as generosity, as presence, as stepping in when you don't have to. Detroit felt it, and Mel felt it too. In quiet moments afterward, he admitted that this experience had reshaped him, that giving back filled a space he didn't even realize was empty. That sometimes the most meaningful connections aren't about finding someone to walk beside you, but about lifting others as you move forward. There was something romantic about it in its own way, not roses and candlelight, but devotion, commitment, and care. This bold action became one of the most talked about moments of Mel's journey, not because it was flashy, but because it was genuine. It reminded viewers that kindness still matters, that impact is louder than words, and that real love often shows up in places no one is watching. Detroit didn't just receive support, it received respect. And Mel Owens didn't just give something away, he gained something in return. Perspective, purpose, and a legacy far bigger than television. If this story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you that one person truly can make a difference, stay connected for more stories that prove heart still leads the way. Because sometimes the most unforgettable moments aren't about finding love, they're about becoming it. As news of Mel Owens' bold action spread across Detroit, something unexpected began to happen. People didn't just talk about what he did, they talked about why it mattered. Because this wasn't about fame, it wasn't about cameras, and it definitely wasn't about winning applause.
Mel didn't arrive in Detroit acting like a hero. He walked in quietly, listening more than speaking. He spoke with community members, longtime residents, young people trying to find their footing, and families who had been overlooked for far too long. And what struck everyone most was how present he was. No rushing, no pretending, no rehearsed speeches, just genuine care. At one point, Mel joked that he thought he was coming to give back, but instead, Detroit was giving him perspective. That line made people laugh, but it also hit deep, because it felt true. Detroit has always been a city of resilience, a city of strength, a city that knows what it means to fall and stand back up. And Mel respected that. His bold move wasn't flashy, but its impact was undeniable. Resources went where they were needed most. Support reached people who weren't used to being seen. Small changes began creating big ripples. One local resident summed it up best, saying Mel didn't treat Detroit like a headline, he treated it like home. That moment alone made fans emotional. Online, reactions poured in. Viewers admitted they tuned in expecting a feel-good story, but ended up feeling something deeper. Messages filled with gratitude, surprise, and admiration flooded comment sections. Many said they hadn't expected a reality TV star to feel this real. Mel, meanwhile, stayed humble. He laughed when people called him inspiring. He shrugged when praised. He reminded everyone that doing the right thing shouldn't be extraordinary. It should be normal. Still, people couldn't ignore what this meant. For Detroit, it wasn't just about help. It was about respect. For fans, it was a reminder that love stories don't always involve romance. Sometimes love looks like showing up for a city that deserves more. And yes, there was romance too. Because watching Mel connect with people, with their stories, their struggles, their hope, revealed a different kind of love. The kind that isn't about roses or grand gestures, but about commitment and compassion. At one lighthearted moment, Mel joked that Detroit might have stolen his heart faster than any date ever could. That line went viral because it felt honest, funny, and perfectly Mel. But beneath the humor was something powerful. This experience changed him. He spoke openly about how it reminded him why he believes in second chances, in life, in love, and in communities. He admitted that sometimes you don't realize how much you have until you see how much others give, even when they have little. Detroit gave him that lesson. And in return, Mel gave Detroit more than support. He gave attention. And attention, when it's sincere, can be life-changing. As days passed, the impact continued. Conversations started. People got involved. Others stepped up, inspired by what they saw. That's how real change works. Not with one loud moment, but with a series of meaningful ones. Fans watching from home felt it too. Many said this was the moment they stopped seeing Mel as just a Golden Bachelor and started seeing him as someone who genuinely walks his values. Someone who proves that kindness doesn't expire with age, that generosity isn't limited by fame, and that love can extend far beyond romance. In the end, Mel Owens didn't just do something big for Detroit. He reminded everyone watching that the most powerful actions don't need spotlight, they just need heart. And that's why this story stayed with people long after it ended. If this moment inspired you, made you smile, or reminded you of the good that still exists in the world, stay connected for more stories like this, because sometimes the most meaningful journeys aren't about finding love, they're about giving it. Thanks for watching Golden Bachelor. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next big story.